always set a great tone. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay. So my talk today is on the inner life. And last week I spoke on the nature of our being. Did everybody hear that one? Look at that. That was good. I watched myself. The inner life is the freedom, in the nature of our being. I talked about the freedom to choose. That's our gift. We're given the freedom to choose. Did you all love the popcorn idea? Yeah. And the whole thing, we can choose to be a kernel, all uptight, not going to our full potential, not moving into the greater good that is yet to be expressed and experienced for each and every one of us. But to make it to this, it's going to take pressure and it's going to take heat to explode into the uniqueness of our own divine nature. And more is yet to be. The popcorn, the pressure, and the heat awakens our true essence. So now today, we're going to look at the inner life that is created by the pressure and the heat of life, yes? Yes. And we're going to remember to write down those gold nuggets. Whatever awakens within you that is greater for you. And today I'm talking about this inner life, the life that lives within us, that serves us, that expands our sphere of availability. And in this past week, I've been watching the Disney Channel and the series on Welcome to Earth. Anybody watching that? Welcome to Earth. It's with, produced by the National Geographic, and it's with Will Smith. And it is the most amazing series I've ever seen. So if you don't write anything else down, please write down Welcome to Earth on the Disney Channel. Even if you don't have the Disney Channel, you can join it, watch the series, and then cancel. Hallelujah. So I'm going to invite each and every one of us to mark that down and to watch this series because it gives us an idea. It has totally blown me away because it gives us an idea of the intelligence, the power, and the intelligence at the center of everything in the world. I've learned things I never knew before, which that's a lot. This is an amazing production of the inner life and the power that is within everything that is seen and everything that is unseen, wherever you can look. And watching this program, I believe it will give you a new perspective on what God is. I don't know if you have any hang-ups about the word God, but it will free up, in my opinion, the old ideas of when I talk about God, that you will open up to the essence of what that word means. It's not an old man in the sky with a beard. It's an essence, an energy, a power. It is the very core of all of life. And I call it God, the infinite. And I invite all of us to watch Welcome to Earth, so that you can learn and understand and see the magnitude, the power that lives in the seen and the unseen, that only through this program and series are we allowed to look at. It's absolutely beautifully done. And Will Smith is wonderful. And he gets scared. He has fears. And yet he moves beyond those fears into deep waters. And we all know that the force of the moon, the pull of the moon, controls the ocean tides. We all know that, yes? Everybody? Okay, that's known. However, did you know that a small part, that's only a small part of what the moon does, the pull of the moon? It really pulls the earth and everything on our planet. They have discovered in big cities and in skyscrapers daily, these tall buildings will grow and shrink 14 inches in a 24-hour period. That's unbelievable. And then when you think of the structure that has to be built to do that, the same force that creates the tides pulls the mountains. So in actuality, what they've been able to do is go to the center of the earth where there is no sound, but the sound that is being heard is the movement of the mountains. The moon keeps our earth turning, and they're discovering this more and more. So I'm going to invite you to be blown away. Also, the swarm that causes insects and animals to be saved from predators and to migrate is their inner force. That same force that's within us has that same inner intelligence used to keep them safe and to help them migrate. We have choice on how we're going to use this power. The program also shows us a blind man whose inner sense of hearing and feeling vibrations has been so heightened he can kayak down rapids as good as a sighted person and more. So have I intrigued you in this series? Good, because I'm going to watch it again. It is so awesome, and it helps me, and I hope it will help you to come to that place where you see if that's out there, if that's really what's taking place, and they prove it, then it must be equally taking place in me. After watching this series, I am totally, positively convinced of a divine intelligence everywhere. At work in our outer world, at work in nature, and that same divine intelligence is working within me and within you. And the importance of this is that we have to understand our own inner life. And watching this series, we can understand the inner life that is out there. I see it as I sit on my back deck and I watch the changes in nature. I watch the squirrels finding the nuts that they have buried and chasing each other around, and realizing that there is so much more choice that each and every one of us has. And yet, within all of the animal life, there is this essence and presence of what I would call God. We're never alone. Life as in nature supports us. And the more we know this and understand this, the more then we will make good choices for our individual lives. Yes? Yes. And this power works with us always for the greater good. So whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it force, it's real. It is here to support all of life, your life, my life. Maybe breathe into that. So how are you going to be if you really know that there is an infinite power and an infinite love that forever says yes to what you believe, what you say, what you do? I don't know about you, but it helps me not feel alone or lonely. From watching this series, I really got the presence and the power of life that is in total cooperation with and for our greater good. Hear that? In total cooperation for your life and greater good. And all you have to do is ask. Ask and it shall be given. We hear those words. We've heard them most of our life. But now how are we going to use it? By choice. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says, take your place then in the universe in which you live, having neither fear nor arrogance, but in a simplicity of faith, because that Believe that you are one with the creative genius. You are one with the creative genius. Part of it, as the sun, the earth, and the air, are all part of one creation. Really breathe. Life is a series of things coming and going, changing and transmuting. Each experience offers us a spectrum of choices. I don't know about you, but the only thing we're really in charge of is our own personal life, what we think, what we feel, and what we do. And those choices that we make determine who we are and how we are going to be. And we can change our mind in any moment. Just as you may have noticed, I changed my hair color. I realized I cannot control what's out there, but what I do get to control is who I am and how I choose to be. Yes? And so when we do that, it's like I said to my hairdresser, yes. He says, you know, you would look good again as a blonde. I said, I'm in. It's going to take a while for this to regulate, but do you see, this is what we're in charge of. We're in charge of what we think, we're in charge of what we say, we're in charge of how we love and how we nurture our own self. Yes?
Yes.
You ready to do that? So if you want to come in next I'll be gone for 2 Sundays. We'll talk about that later. So everybody breathe into this, because we have to start out by, we may start out in fear. Anybody? But fear can be a gateway. The other day I was doing something and all of a sudden I got really scared. And I said, whoa, you're really afraid. But here it is, that there's a gateway of joyful anticipation and grace if we choose to welcome it. And in that moment that I was afraid, I said, oh, I have to go do this. And I kind of spinning about it. And I said, whoa, wait a second, what do you talk about? What do you say? We're choice. So I said, you know, I'm going to change my mind on that. I'm going to say, you know, I'm really excited I get to go do this. Change the whole atmosphere. What are you going to say to yourself today when you walk out of here? Because you see, when we choose to relax in life, when we choose to say everything is here serving me, everything works for my greater good, everything always works out for me. I have that in my car. Everything always works out for me. I'm always surprised now when it doesn't. But then I say, what is this asking of me? You see, when we come, in my opinion, when we come into cooperation with life and how it's serving us and what's taking place, we come into alignment with it. And we don't ever think it's against us. Life is for you. Life is for me. And we choose how we will live, what we will believe, and the story we tell ourselves. Hear that. You're responsible for the story you tell yourself. It's nobody else's fault if you're telling yourself a scary story. Change the story. And I know of a couple, and this really wonderful couple. The woman could not have children, but they were people of faith. And they held that faith that they were going to have a child. And they kept holding that. And they would even say, well, when we have our child, we will do this and we will do that. They even collected baby things and they would put it in a special place. And they would say, when our baby comes, our baby will use this. It took 15 years of them saying this over and over and over again. People would say, oh, how nice. And finally, this couple got a call from a woman in another state who knew of them and knew of what they wanted. And she was running a care home at the time. And in had walked an unmarried woman who was pregnant. And she called these people. And she said, are you still interested in having a child? And they said, yes. And she said, then come here because your twins are being birthed. And of course, they took off. That's what faith does. That's what pre-paving is. It's believing that this is going to happen in your life no matter what, even if you've got the evidence that it's not. Yes? Yeah. So let's stop here. And everybody breathe. And I'm going to ask you a question. What are you willing to demonstrate in your life? Let it come to you. There's no impossible. What are you willing to have come into your life? Take a moment. Think about it. Do not edit. Open to that desire. Write it down. Bring what it is into view. Now, as this couple did, feel that this idea is in your life now. Get excited. Be in the experience of it. Feel it. Make it come alive. It's really happening. This is really happening. This is really going to take place. It's going to, oh my gosh, it's going to show up. Whew. Enjoy the feeling of your new experience. Feel your desire being fulfilled. Live in it. Try it on. Have faith in it. Trust it. Doesn't matter how long it takes. It's on its way. Breathe it in. This is the process of co-creating with the divine power. This is the process that lives within you. We set the blueprint of our life experiences. We desire from our thinking, our beliefs, and our faith. That's what creates. That's what's within us. The key to manifestation is giving thanks. So let's in this moment give thanks for that is coming into your life, that is already showing up. Yes? Like the couple did. We know our baby's on the way. We know our baby's on the way. 15 years. It's not going to take you that long to create this. Blessing before that you desire appears. Hear that. Blessing before that you desire appears. Rick and I have done a lot of visioning on money coming to us. We had no idea that Ellie was leaving us. Money wasn't even in our thoughts. Practice celebrating before you receive. Everybody breathe into that. Practice celebrating before you receive. I celebrated Rick for a couple of years before he came into my life. That's well worth it. Ernest Holmes said, feel as though you are on a mission that glorifies your soul, expands your life in expression. Feel like you are on a mission. This is your inner life. This is your right. It's time to realize that just beyond our thinking lies a banquet of love, limitless potentials for our good, waiting for each and every one of us. Hear that. It's time to realize that just beyond our thinking lies a banquet of love, limitless potentials for our good, waiting for each and every one of us. We all know this. When we have our joys and support, I've seen a lot of you get up and state, this is what I want, this is the job I want, this is the house I want, and bingo, bango, it takes place. This is the relationship I want. Feasting on love doesn't require repressing our emotions or turning a blind eye to suffering of others. No. in the midst of whatever is taking place, in spite of the challenges that you might be facing, you can choose where you place your faith. This couple who for 15 years kept drawing these children into their life, they didn't go and say, the woman never said, oh, I can never have children. She never focused on that. She focused on when our child comes, when our baby shows up, when this happens, we will be ready. You see the difference? Doesn't matter what's going on in your life. What matters is where you choose to place your faith. Where are you placing your faith? Come back. Say, I placed it in the wrong place. Hallelujah. I changed my mind. We can change our habits and change our consumption of the news and change the focus of our attention. Whoa. I don't know about you, but I've really changed the focus of my attention. I rarely watch the news anymore. I watch things like the Disney Channel. I choose today what will nourish my soul. You choose today what will nourish your soul. Our thinking and our choices nurture our inner life. That's our responsibility. God always says, yes, as you believe, so shall it be. But we are the ones that speak the word. Everything is birthed from our beliefs and our thinking. So start this month. It's February. Send yourself a Valentine's Day card. Say, I'm sorry for not constantly loving you 24/7. From this day forward, you send yourself this card. I am so grateful for being the me that I am. And I'm going to take really good care of the me that I am in love. Yes? Yes. Anybody not willing to do that? Good. Always remember, you never are separate from your good. You have no idea what is wanting to come into your life. Welcome it. Expect it. Open to it. Good. Let's take that into prayer. So with gratitude and thanksgiving for all that we have discovered today, we allow that kernel within each and every one of us to pop to its fullest in the heat and the pressure of life. We know and accept that that is only growing us into something greater, into something more valuable, into something that we will fall deeper in love with, which is our divine, magnificent self. There's only one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is perfect, and that life is my life and your life right here, right now. This is what we know. This is what we claim. And where there's a need for a healing, I call forth that miracle-working power of God to renew, to strengthen, to refresh each and every one of us. And we remember again that there is an inner life that lives within us, and we cultivate it. We give thanks for it. We allow it. We hold the vision of this light of truth that desires to show up in every aspect of our life this day and the life of our loved ones. We see a greater life for each and every one of our family members and our friends. We don't have to see the proof of it. We just see the vision of it. And we call it forth for them on their highest and greatest good. I know and accept that this word is powerful. As I release this word into the ever-living, loving law of God that always says yes, returning to and through each and every one of us, multiplied, magnified, spilling over, we are filled to overflowing with the grace and the glory of God's love. We let that be so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.